Thanks for staying with us. So, politicians are just topping our news this entire weekend. We have yet another video that went viral. Governor Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra State was seen berating his commissioner for works, Engineer Ifeanyi Okoma, over some road inspection. In the governor's word, says, "You are incompetent." Hey. The governor also threatened to sack him in public. Jesus. Should the governor have found another way instead of showing out, embarrassing him in public that way? What are your thoughts of chastising him, affecting his emotions possibly? If you were to be the commissioner of works and you're embarrassed like that, how would you feel? Join the conversation. You can call us on 081-076-41679, 0902-416-3440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Let's watch the clip so we can have an understanding of what's going on. We have Hurricane Wike, we have Action Governor Soludo. We have all of them around. You know, gradually things are just somewhat changing. So Governor Soludo has said, "I will sack you. You are incompetent," to his commissioner for works. Obviously, stuff like this goes viral. And Nigerians, we just want everybody to be flogging everybody and be sacking everybody and be, you know, that's for us is governance. But what are your thoughts on this? Because there's one thing to be this kind of governor that wants to be hands-on. There's also the part of respect and regard for the people working with you. The fact that people also want to feel that they are respected for the work they do. So how do we do both and not come across as being insulting or condescending of those working with us? So let me come to you. What are your thoughts on the video? Let me start with you, Nima. Miriam, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I want to understand. I'm asking all of us here. The problem, is it the way he spoke to him or the fact that it was on camera? I think there are two things. Because I've been privy to conversations that happen at commissionings and some, you know, with government people and contractors. This is the sort of conversation that happen. How dare you? How does it look? But it's not on camera. So it happens because I'm giving you a job. If it's normal human person like me, and I give you my 5 naira and you don't do it well, I will talk to you that way, especially if it's something that we have been going back and forth over. So this is the sort of conversation that happens everywhere. I think there was a time they also said Obasanjo was supposed to commission something, and when he saw it, it was like, what? Me, this one, something must be wrong with you, you know? So it happens where the governor or whoever it is that's giving you the job is unhappy with how you have carried it out. And that conversation happens. Now, there was a camera following this person. So I don't know if it was a TV camera or if it was someone who had a phone and was close enough to have access to the conversation that was happening. But for me, all the things that the governor said, they were valid. We need walkways. A job has been assigned to you. Clearly, you haven't been keeping, monitoring the work to the point that it has gone so far, and the mistakes are just right there for anybody to see. What was even more sad for me was that the commissioner seemed even clueless as the governor. He didn't even understand. So it goes to the point of, Mr. Governor, you are the one that employed this, you are the one that appointed this commissioner. Did you do the due diligence, or was it a commissioner that was appointed because, for political reasons? So it brought up a lot of questions for me. Honestly, that's why, we sometimes say, put people who understand the job to be in some positions, because they would understand what to do. But concerning the walkway, it shows a forward-thinking governor, and he's demanding that the right thing be done. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Nima, your thoughts?
Okay, so, but one, I think it was misplaced. But I think this individual was incompetent, and I'm going to say why. So the governor was directing his issues to the Minister for Works. I don't think the Commissioner for Works is in charge of this. There should be somebody in physical planning who will monitor building and approvals like this, who should ensure that...
She's under the Commissioner, though. Yes,
under this, yes. Whose business? Because in Lagos State, when you have these kind of issues, you go to the Department of Physical Planning. If you write to the Commissioner for Works or the department, they would minute it to that relevant authority. So but what I find funny was the Nigerian thing of not accepting responsibility when the government, he said they put it up, Who be the they?
Who was supposed to supervise?
The commissioner answered him. He said he met it, we woke up and met it like that. It's not me, it's them. That kind of thing. So that kind of issue, we'll see to it immediately, because you're the commissioner, you can refer that issue to the relevant department. You can call that department and say, this will be done immediately. You know, your response would have helped the governor to say that, oh, we missed this, but we'll make sure that this is done. You then write to whoever is relevant, who is supposed to see to it that every building...
That's the commissioner's job now, not the governor.
The commissioner for works' job is to ensure that the plans for works that the governor has are done. It's not to monitor buildings.
But who would I hold? If I'm the governor, who would I hold?
Wait, they're on tour together.
I will hold the commissioner.
1 minute. They are on tour together.
Yes.
Commissioner for works is to ensure that roads, buildings, schools, that the governor... That's not his job.
No, you don't.
There's a department called
the person who appointed him. It's only the person who appointed him.
Let's follow the hierarchy.
Can tell us whose job it is. So, because governors can say, okay, under your own office, this is what I want you to do. So, if the governor is accusing him of something he has appointed him to do, so we can't say this is what you're supposed to do. But however,
works should ensure buildings are conforming with the standards.
Either way, the governor
who supervises this fiscal...
Urban and regional planning and physical planning.
Under which ministry?
In an organogram, you have the person
hierarchy.
that is... Yes, there's a hierarchy. You have the person that you report to. And the governor was doing right by the person that he had appointed to be in charge of that project.
Everybody.
So that's why he was on tour with him. That's why he was not on tour with everybody else beneath him.
No, I want to believe in that team and other commissioners, but maybe it's the most...
one that is...
But I don't think he's the one.
Anyway.
Okay. Yes, so the hierarchy thing, if anything goes wrong here, the first person they will call will be Moriah, right? Then Moriah can now say, no, it was BC I gave the job to do, it was Nima I gave the job to do, and all of that. But I don't think it's the place of the governor at that time to start asking, call all the people to come and submit themselves. Now, when I saw the video, it was very funny. It was hilarious to me. And I felt like, where were you when this sort of structure was erected? And I know that's Anambra State. No be so.
Yes.
Yeah. I know how they cluster their buildings in that place. No space.
Because they cluster.
No. You have not been to Anambra. Go to Anambra and go to Onitsha. You'll be amazed at how these structures come up. And I always ask myself, even as a young child growing up, when we go for shopping in Anambra, I always ask myself, is it that there's nobody who would look at this and say, okay, this is not what you're supposed to erect here? It's always and I'm seeing that the governor is trying to sanitize the place. So all hands must be on deck, right? The words that he used, well...
I will sack you, you're incompetent.
He was in the heat of the moment. I want to excuse that. And we have been shouting here, competence.
Did he insult him?
He didn't insult him. He just mentioned that you were given this to do and you did not do it well. As simple as that. I also understand
in Nigerian parlance, it's an insult. In Igbo parlance, you're incompetent. That doesn't mean an insult.
No, it's not an insult.
I know.
You can be incompetent. No, you can be incompetent in this job. Does not mean you're an incompetent human being.
Yes.
Just in this job that I gave you, sabi duam. It's as simple as that, right? We need to start looking at the dictionary properly so that we don't give a Nigerian meaning to some words that we're not supposed to. So if your elder or your senior in terms of hierarchy and all of that says, you did not do this job well, you don't know how to do it, I don't think it's something for you to go and start feeling you were insulted. It's for you to sit up and do the work. And then call all the people who were supposed to do the work right and then hold them accountable.
Can I interject a bit?
Interject.
You know how in Igbo language and their dictionary writing, they say, Daddy, shut up. You're not saying anything about your dad. Just asking to shut up. It's not a big deal. According to the dictionary, it's just
even them shut up is shut up.
So you say, Daddy, shut up. But in the Nigerian parlance, you can't tell your father to shut up. So it means different things. They say you're incompetent. In your Igbo version, it just means that you don't know how to do this.
Okay,
if in Nigerian parlance, they don't finish it.
If we're supposed to say it in our Nigerian way, because it's important. Yes. This language thing, we've talked about it. That sometimes we forget that there's the nuances of our culture and our language. But how would I say it? So that this person understands that it's not you. I'm not insulting you as a human being. I'm just pointing out that
before my hand.
No, but it's true. Yes.
Before my hand. Before my hand. You have communicated.
You know Sabi.
You know Sabi. You don't before my hand. You don't say, hey, you have communicated to Nigeria. You are incompetent. But it's the same thing. Finish.
No, it's not the same. What you have said, I respect you, but the way you did it.
Yes.
I like that.
Okay, so that's our culture.
Uncle, whole of you. I get it.
So that's
We didn't ask our local
we said
language.
it when Dr. Uju Kennedy spoke to
Yeah,
women.
yeah.
And I was arguing
And I always
that
agree.
there's a possibility that the English she was speaking, she was thinking in Igbo and said it in English. That the way you communicate is different because
You're right.
when we are talking to Nigerians, see, read the room.
And I know
Read
that
the
if
room.
he had used "you form my hand," the response would have been
Different.
There's a way it will enter me. Even me, if I stand beside the governor says incompetent to me, I will really feel bad. But if you say "you form my hand," I will realize this man is saying, I trust you, but this particular thing you've done, so I will take it upon
If he
myself.
doesn't trust him.
Wait. I'll not take it upon myself. I'm just saying how
Yeah, I know,
language,
I
you know, the language that we use, how it reflects. I will take it more upon myself to make sure that I will not fall your hand again.
Yeah.
I will sort it out. But as you have called me incompetent, I'll carry that thing for the rest of my life.
life. In Yoruba way, they say,
Yeah,
so you still...
You still respect.
yes.
You've formed
Still
my hands.
respect the person.
Yes, yeah.
It means that I put you here, but I'm so disappointed.
Yeah.
It comes with a bit of respect.
Yeah, because
Because
in
in Nigeria, respect.
But you know when you're not disappointed, it's not you form my hand. Though. You are,
When you're really disappointed,
you know,
yeah.
listen, quiet.
Yeah.
You know,
True. He was really disappointed with
because
that
he was
question.
disappointed.
Yeah,
you know, but I still think that the departments in that
Yeah, need your
in that
department
state-
matter.
No, it's
Yeah.
true. Because you see, we've just seen one case. You know, when the governor is moving around with him and TV and camera, his crew, media crew, they are doing their
Boy, was
work.
that
So people
TV?
thought they staged it. They did not. He moves with his camera and media team. That's normal. But there's somebody whose business every day is ensuring that they do not build over a drainage, ensure that they do not put a fence in the middle of the road, ensure that there's a walkway. It is not that of the Minister for Works, whose business is to upward roads and all of that, and buildings. And it is that of a department called physical planning in Lagos, for instance. I have had to interface with them, write to them a few times. And their work is totally different. I remember writing that first letter. The property is in Ikola Road. And it was on a Lagos State housing scheme.
Yeah.
And I wrote to to lands, and it was minuted to the proper department. So I know this thing. I know.
So I hear
that
you,
there are
Nima.
important
You are
departments
absolutely
that
correct.
are failing now, and we are looking at the
You're
wrong side.
absolutely correct. However, the person in charge of that of the public planning will not attend ESCO meetings on Mondays. It's the commissioner
Yes,
that will
that will
attend.
report.
So he must be on top of what. Wait.
PSs.
No, not all the no PSs don't attend the ESCO meetings. ESCO is between the commissioner, the governor, and those
commissioners.
Some
commissioners.
departments that
So
are
only if they need the PS, they can specially request for. But if they don't need, but it's the commissioners that report to him. So he
the
must
inner
be on top of
caucus.
everything.
The
public
point I'm
works
trying to
and the
make now
planning.
is that somebody is
I would like to
collecting
go
the
back to
money
language.
for fence enter road.
Uh-huh.
Then the people that they will rent shop for, somebody is doing their own in my estate right now. They have blocked the gutter. They push up on top of it. Then it's normal. This matter BC mentioned that if you see markets, markets like the trade fair and this article market, you know, popular.
Balogun market.
No, I'm talking about the one that I'm seeing. I'll be standing out. There's a place I buy books for my kids. I go there every time to look for novels and small story books. And I'll be looking up like this. It seems like it's going to fall. All the cements don't come out. The bars are sticking out like this. They open their shops every day and sell every day. They built it like that on top of each other. And they don't have any... It's not conforming with any...
So and you see the problem
One
is...
second, Let me take Theophilus and I'll come to you.
But they're
Theophilus, you're live. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Mariah, good morning.
Morning.
Carol.
I'm fine. This is Gabriel on Delta State.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, this is my first. The issue of, let me start from the issue of Ubara and Senate President.
Yes, it's your view. Let it count. Go ahead.
I think it has to do with, if it was Jagaban that was in the shoe of Senate President, he would not respond in that manner. I trust him for that. I get me. We individually we have our different approaches. Because the issue of maybe DC culture, the rest came up fine. But even the governor himself, governor knew where he was driving to, and unfortunately, his president fell for it. That is it. It's political. That is it. Then.
Thank you, Theophilus.
Who knows what is going
Different
on. So I was
approaches.
saying that also, as we can see here in Lagos State, some houses are going to be demolished or some structures are going to be demolished because we do not pay, we don't do the right thing. So what the governor is doing now is going to save a lot of problems. You know, especially when a new governor comes, or a governor is trying to pull down structures that is impeding on drainages and water flow, we now start saying, oh, is this the right time? Nigerians are suffering. This is not fair. This man does not have any empathy. And he's insisting on the right thing to be done now. So that's why it's always important from the very beginning, you know, to do what is right so that the cost of it will not be as high. As bad as it is now, it will not be as high as when that thing is completely finished and people are, you know, using the structure. But I still want us to go back to language, Mariah. I love this fact that, you know, we have to understand our culture and how we speak. I've heard that with Asians, especially I think maybe Japanese or Koreans, that there's a way that you speak, especially when you're speaking to people who are a bit higher than you, you defer to them. And we have that as Africans. You know, you defer to them. If you don't speak in deference to them, it comes across as rude. Even if what the words you're saying is not rude, but you are not putting into consideration the culture of when we talk to leaders, we defer. I've seen it happen in a lot of places where, you know, with our lecturers, with things like that, everybody keeps comparing, oh, in America, oh, they call their lecturers by their first names. They, you know, there's a way they do it in America that is different, but that's their culture. And it's okay for their culture. In fact, the other places like Europe, they also have their culture. So we need to understand, you know, it's all in the conversation of what is it we want as Nigerians? What's our standard? What is it in our language, in the way we speak to each other? What do we want to become the one thing that we do everywhere? So when we're speaking to someone, the words have to be, you know, I don't push for pidgin English, but the words have to be in such a way that it captures our culture, it captures our respect for each other.
Also, the intention of what you're trying to communicate. Let me take this call from Hassan.
Pay you for.
Good morning, Hassan, you're live. Oh, yeah.
So,
So,
we speak English
want to go on
as our official language here,
Yeah.
right? And in the public service, we use English. Constitution has English and all of that. So I think we just have to understand how to use the English language better in the right context in which it's used. For me, if you do something that really negates what I expect you to do as the person who is in charge to monitor this and monitor that, make sure that taxpayers' money is not wasted, you know. There's a responsibility that comes with such public offices. I will not be using you for my hand for something that was obviously not well thought out. Something that you know, you sat down, you allowed it to be erected, you did not do your job of supervision. I will not be using you for my hand. You for my hand is, you made a small mistake that I just want to overlook, and I just want to just give you that friendly warning. At this point, we're not friends. You have one assignment to do, and you have to do it well. And if you do not do it well, I will use the words to communicate how pained I am that we have to get to a point where we're bringing down this building. That's wasting cement, wasting block, wasting resources that we could have channeled to something else. We're bringing it down just because you did not do your work. So I will not use you for my hand. This is not a culture thing.
No, in culturally too, there must be a way that you would say.
But I'm not speaking culture right now.
Wait,
this is public office. I'm speaking work
let me
and
for a second.
excellence, right?
I
will not be, see.
Even in our culture,
I don't want us to,
Let me tell you, I want you to
excellence.
think about it.
Yeah.
I will take a caller. Good morning, Shegun, you're live. Shegun, are you there? You're live.
Yeah, good morning.
Go ahead,
Mariah.
please. Yes.
Let me start with the Fubara issue.
Yes, go ahead. It's your view. Go ahead.
Just catching up.
The family, they turn the burial to a carnival. So the fault is for the family.
Sorry.
The man is a young, the wife is young, and they are son. They have the regent father. They should be buried quietly. But they decided to make it carnival. That's why all kind of people came there.
He's a statesman. People know him. He's well known. He has impacted lives.
Yeah.
He's touched many lives, and people have worked with him. So I think it was an appropriate. Some would say
yes,
he's an appropriate
it's
burial.
appropriate, but they could not send it to carnival. It's a carnival. That is why the burial turned to a show between the carnival.
Okay, that's your view. Let me let you.
take
Okay,
it
thank you very much, Mr. Shegun.
He says, I get your point, talking to when I refer to private burials as well. He said, but this is kind of hard to bury a bank MD privately. Of course, the family could have insisted, but a public event would always go and hold somewhere in one form or another. And we've seen that before. That was he supporting, you know. And
so let me go back to what PC was trying to say. Let's come back to things like
also quickly. They said this man is not a commissioner for us. Is the according to this person, he says is the chairman, local government. Is the local government boss for, what's it called? Called the local
So
government.
does he deserve it now that you know?
It was safe.
The information we got was from the commissioner, but I guess we can always get that. The producer can always confirm from us.
Yes, please.
All right, so what I was saying concerning, we're moving this conversation to the issue of language. As Africans, respect is part of our core.
Yeah.
Regardless of what tribe you're from, north, south, east, and west. Even though some people, they demonstrate respect in different ways. There's a respect we have for each other.
Yeah.
And that respect is carried in everything we say, how we say it,
words.
we say it in our words. Abroad, really, and not that they don't respect each other, but their language doesn't have that essence in it. So when you use words, if you goof, we tell you goof and you go. It's black and white. It is here in Nigeria where Mr. John slapped Mrs. John. We now discuss, okay, we now start discussing. In abroad, you slap Mrs. John, the sanction is 10 years in jail, pretty much. Here, okay, because of the Nikon, we now start considering federal factors, we discuss it and see how we can bring it down to. Because we have different factors. That's because we are Africans, because we respect his role as a father, we respect her role as a mother, we respect society, where they're from, the pedigree. We consider all those things. And because of that, let's reduce it to years.
And we cannot call it spade a spade.
Yes.
Is that not what is dragging us back?
Not necessarily.
We're all speaking the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't call a spade in our culture for different reasons. It's good and it's bad.
Exactly.
Because there's certain ways you see, there are ways you look at things and you're like, okay, if I do it this way, it's always a good way, but the consequences might be enormous.
Oh, wow.
So in this situation, I can see you fall my hand, not because I want to disrespect you. I respect you as the chairman or as the person you are. But this word I gave you, you don't
Do you know, even something as simple as the words, you know, in French, they have some words where for adults, you refer to them in the plural.
Yes.
You know, you say vous, but if you're talking to a young person, you can say tu in the singular. So it shows, you know, in accepting, with this colonialism and accepting the way we're using English, sometimes we put our own culture beneath it. And I want it to be that we are recognizing that our culture also is as important as the English language that we're using. I like what you said that, you know, for me, when I'm having a communication with someone, if I want to do something, if I'm displeased about something, the communication I'm having with you is not just so that I can, you know, I can insult you. The essence of that communication is so that what I want done is done. So I'm not bringing you, I'm not having this conversation so that I can tell you how much I told her off, how much I disrespected her. That's not the essence of my conversation. I want that at the end of this conversation, you feel the need to do what is right. And so I will use the words that will communicate that the job here is what is most important and not that I am bigger than you or I can use these words that can demean you. So when we are discussing in English, I think we should also remember that we're people who respect each other. And respect each other does not mean we don't tell each other the truth. When we say we don't call a spade, but when we do, but we eventually get there. You know, we have conversations where you call an elder and explain to an elder that there's a certain way you have done something and the person gets it. And sometimes we have missed the core of a message because of the way we have said it. Many times with government officials and government policies, they have these laudable policies, but because of the way they have used the language, they did not put into consideration all the, you know, the differences, the nuances of culture and ethnicity and religion. You lose. So that's, for me, I think that's...
Okay. Yes, from the real crux of the matter.
Let me take God's will from Delta. I'll come to you. Good morning, God's will. You're live.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm not from Delta. I'm from Bauchi.
Oh, sorry about that, God's will from Bauchi. You're live.
They gave you Incompetent.
Yeah, thank you. I want to air my view concerning the Fobara.
It's your view, let it count. Go ahead, please.
All right. My point of view is Fobara is also a politician. He made a very good statement, but also when a senior or elder brother that is also a senior power ahead of him came ahead and said, Fobara, what you said is you are also a politician like us. Because his message was directly to politicians. So he said, okay, if the struggle is vanity, why not relinquish your seat? We also look at it from that point of view first. So I feel like, to some extent, you people are forcing people to see God's will about you like a bad person. No, he might have a different way of passing message, but his message was more powerful than what Fubara said. Fubara said, okay, what are we struggling for?
Godswill, can I stay with you for a minute? Please do. Godswill, can I stay with you for a minute? So you made an important point, because Fubara is a politician. Absolutely correct. So it's possible that he also had the intention to strike a bit, to strike a bit. However, the conversation on this table focused more on the fact that it was the wrong place or time for even the Senate president, even if Fubara was foolish enough to actually go ahead and use that striking sentence to prick him. Should the Senate president have responded in that kind of place?
What Fabio did was the right thing.
Oh, wow.
Let me address a foolish man. If he's foolish, for me.
Okay.
Can I ask Godswill something?
Go ahead.
You know, we said something about vanity upon vanity. That's what we thought. That's what we believed the governor was the message was trying to pass across.
Yes.
And you have just said,
Yes.
that the Senate president was right in saying, if you don't want to struggle, then leave. Can I ask you a question? Since we all end up dying in the end, should we just all commit suicide at birth? We have to all die.
At some point.
Yes.
So what's the need of living if we're all going to die? Let's just commit suicide at birth. That's how I saw his response to what Fubara said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no problem. But my point of view is...
That's too highly. See? You didn't communicate. Thank you very much. That your English. You didn't communicate to good.
I think he got it.
No, she did.
He got it.
He now got it.
He now got it.
That's when he now got it.
He got it.
Because when he was talking, my own answer was even worse.
Yeah.
I was saying he's talking to politicians, so the head of the whole politician in Nigeria has to respond.
So
to
back to our topic.
Okay, back to the
Yes, so I know, I like how you explained different cultures and how we use respect and all of that. And that also takes me back to the culture of where this happened. The way the Igbos show respect is different from the way the Yorubas show respect. It's different from the way the Hausas show respect, right? For an Igbo person, they would vocally tell you this is it. So he has not done anything wrong. I am telling you, and I think if you even check them, the governor is definitely older than that other person and higher in hierarchy. So he's not going to be bowing down and respecting to tell him that he has messed up. He will tell him the way it is. When it is his turn to tell the governor, he will now have to go with the, okay, I have to say it in a certain way because this person is higher or older than I am in terms of hierarchy and position.
Not looking at us. They are simply talking to each other's offices.
Yes,
yes. If the local government, they say it's Ogbaru local government chairman. If he was to talk to the governor, he will simply be talking to him because he's the governor.
Yeah.
If push comes to shove, governor come up for governor place and they are meeting, he won't allow him to talk. An average Igbo man will not allow anybody to talk him down.
Exactly. So that's their culture as well.
The point I'm trying to make is that even though we express culture in different ways, it's still at the core.
And this is
it's still at the essence. So
Hey,
the Igbo man might not
of the core now.
What I'm saying that I still respect you than Igbo to Igbo.
No, these are Igbo to
I was
Igbo.
making a point earlier.
Yeah,
That is a lot
Igbo.
confusing.
What will you call respect here is not what we call respect.
But there's respect. That's my
Of course,
point.
there is respect.
It's different, but there's respect.
Yes, but if there's a truth to be told, no, listen,
not
you can
age.
respect a person, right?
yes.
But there's truth to be told. You will say it the way it is. That's how they do it.
So for someone who is from a blunt tribe,
Yes.
I cannot pretend not to have heard this kind of bluntness. For someone wants to tell me, why are you chewing like a goat? It's bluntness. Yes. You're chewing and they don't have flowers to describe, to water their words.
Yeah.
There are no flowery words in our tribes.
Yeah.
And so what you
straight. I
interpret
like the way you use
sometimes,
that, flowery
they go
words.
like that, bam, to the very core of your being in their statements. I'm used to things like this and in description. I sometimes do it now.
And so you get
it's
it.
in the genetics.
And so you get it. You don't see it as as an insult.
No,
because
you
it's something
don't.
you understand.
You don't go in search of
an
good
insult.
words to communicate, express how you feel.
Anger, yeah.
So we had to learn it.
I love it.
We had to learn it
Thank
growing
you.
up. It's a lot confusing. So sometimes when I need to be direct, I'll be like, I don't have time to flower this thing. I go direct. I'm like, it's like, Mommy, that's very painful. I did not see anything wrong. Because they didn't see anything wrong when
Well,
we
parents
used
are allowed to be direct.
So you go direct. And the governor was in his expression at that moment and time. I'm gonna come and flower the words. You're incompetent.
time,
If
yeah.
you
But you
were
didn't
competent,
insult him, sha.
this
It's
will
not an
bother
insult.
you. And some things that you see, they are just basic common sense. Some construction that you see should bother anybody.
I'm telling
but
you.
you see some Nigerians
No walkway.
thriving and minding. They call it mind business.
But
Minding their businesses.
you know, you both of you made a very good point about how, you know, you just say it. Because I can imagine if this happened anywhere else, especially in the north, that man will not be responding. His head will be bowed down until he's done, and then he'll go and do the work. Do you understand? So he will not even be in normal conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, already that will even be seen as rudeness. I'm telling you, listen while I speak.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
how
when
it's
I'm done, you go and
But it's
sort
different.
yourself.
Even how we grew
So
up,
there are many things.
even how we grew up. So it was when I was working with, a school, and my principal was a man, a Yoruba man, who, when he comes into the meeting room and we're having meetings, I'm the only woman who will be looking at him while he's talking. And then he went around saying that I was rude because every other teacher there will bow their head when he's talking. But that's not how I grew up. I grew up looking at my father when he's talking. He will ask me. In fact, when you look down, you are called an evil person because you cannot match the eye with the truth. Yes, that's my culture. So when my father is shouting at me, or maybe I've done something wrong and I'm looking down, that means I am guilty, I have done it, I'm not a good person. But when I look to his eyes and I'm able to respond, he's asking questions, I'm answering him, but no, Daddy, that's not what I did. I'm seen as, okay, you are an honest person. So I grew up that way. I had to go and unlearn again when I worked in a Yoruba atmosphere.
This is not regional.
Because I'm not looking, I'm looking at my Oga's face.
The point I'm trying to make, and I think you're still missing the point. I'm saying that the language of you are incompetent means different things to different people.
Yes, we get that.
And that doesn't negate what you're saying.
It shouldn't.
Because culture, yes, is there. Respect is how you see it. When you say you are incompetent, somebody else who has a bit of, maybe a certain level of exposure will say, okay, I messed up in this place. But somebody else who is hearing that you have insulted them to their being.
We explain to them.
So even though in your
there's no time
language,
to
you still communicate the same incompetence, but it should mean something different
English
in a
is not
different way.
adequate.
So
Yes.
English doesn't provide that
adequately
understanding.
interpret.
You mess up,
to let you know what you did. So it might not be before your hand, but it could be different language.
Yes,
something
it
that
might not be for
communicates to
you. You are correct. But you see, it's even worse when they interpret it
in the language.
In the language, I'm telling you. I know. I used to have a dictionary in Isako language of words and proverbs just to interpret the times, because they say that half word that they give Pikin wey get sense. They give you bam, bam all the time. I had to quickly go and be checking. That was how I mastered my language, interpreting my parents and their proverbs all the time. You know, the words, when I sit here, if I use those words in English, my kids will run out of the house.
I don't know about the Isako words, but the one Yoruba word I know is Okudiekatu. Wait.
Okudiekatu is for my hand. You are incompetent. It's Olodonye. It's Olodo. You will pay your bones.
Olodonieni.
Don't know anything.
You know, that will bury you. God will open you, will enter. You're incompetent. It means that you don't know it well. You can apologize.
Okay,
let's just stick to English at this point.
No, I don't think what local language. Speak your local language.
Let me take this call. Let me take this call from, I don't even know, Moses. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Hey.
No, Dunia.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Just to Moses from Kaduna.
Yes, go ahead, please.
I want to go back to the word of Senate President Governor Kubara. Please, if you see the comment of the Senate President back to Kubara, even though a madman will climb that stage now, even though a madman will climb that stage, and we see a tree cough lying on his front, I think his senses will come back to him. Because I don't see anything that the governor went there to speak anything against the Senate President or one of the governors. He speak about the truth. Because he put himself also inside.
Yeah.
He said because the end of the world, everything with the money, with everything, everybody will still go back to that place.
Yeah.
So what's the reason why the Senate President will start out giving comment of politicians giving comment of when it was this, it was that? Look, the whole world are watching at us as a Nigerians. And you know, now as we're speaking now, the world eyes on us for we to develop this country, Nigeria, because they call us the giants of Africa. So please, the only thing I have to say to the Senate President, we have the worst Senate President in this world now.
I think you made the point. Let's cut it off there. Thank you very much.
I sense the meaning of incompetence in Yoruba. It's Alainishe.
Yeah, that one is
that subtle?
Yeah, it's still subtle.
But the anger of what you have done is not for me to be looking for subtle words.
Your language.
Your language. Don't you have word for incompetence?
And what is that?
You don't know nothing. That's the one I can remember right now. You know nothing. This job is not for you. You know
but you see, when you tell that to somebody, I'd rather take that.
If we're incompetent, see, Mariah, I would take speaking our local language from beginning to the end.
Let's stick
That's
to
when
English,
I can now be telling you in local language. I've been
English
speaking English with you from beginning to the end. Why do I want to use local language to tell you that you have messed up? To make it easy for you. No, you will not get it because tomorrow you mess up again. No, I need to tell you the extent of your mess up so that next time.
Let me give an example. Let me give an example. You see, we have Oyinbo CEO. And I mean, I remember many years ago, when he came in and he would talk, in the beginning, he wasn't communicating. When his accent initially, when he started off, and he was difficult. Not because he wasn't getting, we understand, but it was hard for him to communicate to certain people. So he has to understand that, okay, there's a language you have to step down to a point where you're trying to drive a new station to a new place. And you are saying certain things and you're talking over our heads and we're not getting it. So sometimes you have to bring it down to Nigerians to understand where we are, to move us to the next level. It's the same situation. You are saying incompetent. Yes, I get incompetent, we understand it, but if you're talking to the chairman of the local government and you want him to understand how incompetent he is, don't use the word incompetent. That word will not communicate incompetence to him.
Nice, because in Anambra,
it will communicate insult. It will communicate insult. But it will not communicate that I want you to do better. I want you to fix this. You have folded my hand.
It would have been nice if he had just, spoken Igbo. Because in Anambra, I don't know
from
why
beginning to the end, right?
Governors do this thing. I always appreciate it once in a while when Sanwo-Olu is addressing Lagosians. Paschal used to do it. He will be at some gatherings and throughout he will speck Yoruba.
So people that have to their language cannot run for office.
But the governors for Anambra people, they should not be shying away from their...
I have Ade from London.
I wanted to
come to you in a second. Ade, live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, please.
Good morning.
I have a different opinion.
Please go ahead.
All these politicians, they are all the same. When Kubara come and be governor, Kubara was a civil servant. He must have done things good for Wiki, like a cover-up, because he's in charge of it. And now Kubara is there. Wiki is fighting Kubara. Then the president is talking. All of them are the same. When the society of Vanity, to see leave that place and go and collect money somewhere that doesn't belong to them, that belongs to the... They don't have conscience. And when they want to put ceramic, when the Bible says, just you are, just shall do so. So who allowed us to come inside the ceramic? They put the apple, bury them there. So I don't have pity for them.
So there used to be a line my father uses to address when you're doing something, or maybe you're Agizadeke, and you would think it sounded nice because we did. And when they ask him to say, stop being foolish, then I will not ask him. When he says Udufuki, you say, don't be a fool the size of your age. The English was not interpreting it.
Hey,
yes. The size of your age.
Sometimes when you are big, and you're acting, don't be a fool the size of your body. Reduce the foolishness.
That's in your language.
Yes. Udufuki, don't
it
be...
It doesn't hit you because you don't get the language.
So the language was the only thing... Whenever I said it in English, it sounded okay.
Yeah.
But after that, nobody of a certain distance can use that language.
This is funny because I remember my grandfather, when he would get upset, when he has finished saying all the words, then he would say, bloody fool. When he says that, we will fall down. It was so funny. He's like, bloody fool. Like everything else was not in English. So I would send the message across.
So I would advise, right, that, because we are all adults, you would find a way to communicate to adults like you in a respectful manner. Irrespective of the situation. So because when I saw that video, I laughed, but I was asking myself, would I have done that? I wouldn't have done that. Especially not outside, right? But you will see the anger that, you did not do this well. But I may not have used certain words outside, because... I won't use that outside.
Please,
for an adult.
I want us to be...
For an adult, I will not use that outside.
What he said was incompetent, right? And
Incompetent.
what other word?
Just that, I'll sack
I'll
you.
sack you.
Yes. No, I will not do that
I come
outside
back
because
here,
I
I'll
understand how people's emotions can be. It may demoralize him beyond, what he has done, and it will now spiral into other things, right? So because I'm that particular about how I want you to feel at the end of the day, outside I will not use such words, right? But you will see the anger. I will vent at the building. I will vent at everything around, but I will not, direct you. Particularly, I had to learn that
that
growing up.
doesn't correct
just to save. I know, no, just to save your face in public, and because you are my team member, I also want you to feel well, even while we're working together. Jesus Christ carry cane, go flog people for temple. Even Jesus Christ that taught us how to be
so
calm
you can demonstrate the frustration.
Yes.
Good morning, thanks for calling. I think I have a call. Good morning.
Just to save him.
Vipers.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So my former help, and even this new one, I see that I have to be, show them courtesy back. I see that when I'm using that courtesy and expressing anger or displeasure, they don't get it. I'll be like, this thing that you did, I really don't like it. This is not how it should be done. Let me show you this is how it should be done.
But you're older than
I come back the next day. The first one I was older than, this one is older than me. I come back the next day,
same thing.
They do the same mistake again. So when I'm talking, Mommy, are you upset? Like,
You're not feeling the
I have not still communicated. Actually, I have not communicated to these people how displeased I am about how they handle these things.
Because
so
you're trying
I
to be
really don't
nice.
blame them because I'm trying to put emotional intelligence. If I come back and say I was see, don't get, everybody will get it.
Yeah.
But because I'm trying to sugar the word, flower the word, respect it. Even the Yoruba, you don't Yoruba. I need to say it exactly how I need to communicate. I want them to get it.
Yeah, we can also take away rewards.
I came home, I'd shown her this pot. I said, it's a non-stick pot. Please don't use iron spoon. This and that. I showed her. And the pots have colors. And me, I like all this decoration thing. I don't know, semi. And she came. The silver pot that need iron. She left it. She carried that non-stick one, put iron sponge.
Ew,
if I was subconscious, I said, Q. I screamed from where I was, and that got it. Because I'd corrected her 3 times. She didn't get it. But when I screamed,
maybe screaming is also part of our language.
Screaming. That's what I'm saying. Demonstration. Demonstrate your anger. Don't say it. You have to prove. You
can also take away rewards.
Sometimes when you're angry and
They
go,
will find the reward.
I am so angry with you. They'll be looking at you.
But when you break something, jag something, and scream
Don't
something.
break something, no.
That's all we can take on today's show.
I
We learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.